Urgent Raiders fan, look at what just happened. Nobody saw this coming, huh? But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we bring you daily videos with the latest your team news, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Raiders prove a new era is underway by landing one of biggest steals in free agency. Las Vegas' recent signing is similar to one they made a few seasons ago and may shock some people this year. Things have been a bit different this offseason for the Las Vegas Raiders under new general manager John Spytek. Under the previous regimes, it seemed like the franchise was trying to win the free agency period by trading for players like Davante Adams or signing players like Chandler Jones to large contracts. However, Spytek has subscribed to a different method this spring. While he did spend quite a bit on extending star defensive end Max Crosby, he only sent a third-round pick to Seattle in exchange for Geno Smith and has not signed a free agent for more than $8 million per year. Still, ESPN listed the Raiders among the most improved teams this offseason despite losing half of their defensive starters from a season ago. Part of this projection is factoring in that Las Vegas may have gotten one of the biggest steals during free agency. Elandon Roberts is one of biggest steals in free agency for Raiders A to Z Sports. Justin Churchill asserted that linebacker Elandon Roberts was the biggest steal of the first week of free agency. His cheap contract combined with his production and leadership made him a no-brainer for Las Vegas' new front office, and the signing should remind Raider Nation of a recent addition by the franchise that paid off in a major way. This move resembles one they made a few years ago, the signing of Robert Spillane, who also was leaving the Pittsburgh Steelers on a cheap deal, only to be rewarded bug time after 2 years, wrote Churchill. Roberts was coveted by the Steelers and their fan base, yet the Raiders were able to get him for 1 year, $3 million, which is about as cheap as you will get for a player like Roberts, and is a great player. While Spillane is no longer with the Silver and Black, the team replaced him with a similar player from a similar background. Defensive coordinator Patrick Graham has specialized in taking later-round draft picks or cheap free agency acquisitions and turning them into legitimate NFL players. Graham has done it before, and he can do it again with Roberts. He is just one of many underrated defensive signings that the Raiders made this offseason, with Jeremy Chin, Eric Stokes, Lonnie Johnson, and Leki Fotu being some of the others. Spytek has ushered in a new era in Las Vegas, and he is actually getting credit for the moves that he is making. This might feel unfamiliar for Raider Nation, but hopefully it is something that we can all get used to. Pausing this news just to say that if you want YouTube to keep recommending the latest Raider Nation news to you, it's very important that you leave a like on this video. Thanks. Now let's get back to the news. Raiders sign free agent linebacker Devin White to a 1-year deal. The Las Vegas Raiders added more help at linebacker, signing unrestricted free agent Devin White to a 1-year contract on Monday. White was a first-round pick by Tampa Bay in 2019 and spent last season with Philadelphia and Houston, recording 19 tackles in 7 games with the Texans. White had spent the offseason and first month of the season with the Eagles before getting cut. White had his greatest success with the Buccanners after being picked 5th overall, one spot after the Raiders drafted defensive lineman Clelin Ferrell. White was a second-team All-Pro in his second season in Tampa Bay when he helped the Bucs go on to win the Super Bowl against Kansas City. White had a career-high 3 sacks that season in a win over the Raiders. He had 38 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 2 fumble recoveries in 3 playoff games that season. White is one of 3 players since at least 1991 with multiple fumble recoveries and interceptions in the same postseason, with Zach Bond doing it last season for Philadelphia and David Macklin in 2003 for Indianapolis. White made the Pro Bowl in 2021, but his struggles in coverage led to his departure from Tampa Bay following the 2023 season. White has played in 83 career games with 585 total tackles, 23 sacks, 40 tackles for loss, 64 quarterback hits, 3 interceptions, 6 forced fumbles, 9 fumble recoveries, and 21 passes defensed. The Raiders lost linebackers Robert Spillane and Divine Diablo in free agency, but have signed White and Elandon Roberts to fill those roles. Wild trade proposal has Raiders flip Michael Mayer in package for hybrid star. There's one player who stands out as the perfect fit for the Las Vegas Raiders in the 2025 NFL Draft. With the offseason trade for quarterback Geno Smith, the team no longer needs a quarterback. What they do need is wide receiver help and cornerback help. There's only one player in the draft class who can help both positions, Colorado's Travis Hunter. While it's unlikely he'll be able to play both wide receiver and cornerback full-time at the NFL level, it sounds like he wants to do. If he can do that and do it well, the Raiders would solve two needs at once. However, it's going to require trading up from the number 6 pick. ESPN's Bill Barnwell pitched a trade that would send the number 6 pick, the number 37 pick, 2026 fourth-round pick, and tight end Michael Mayer to the Cleveland Browns for the number 2 pick and a 2027 conditional fifth-round pick. The Browns undoubtedly want to add a star player with the number 2 pick, but they need more cost-controlled talent across the board because of the after-effects of the Watson trade, Barnwell wrote in a March 31st column. Moving down and adding extra picks makes sense, especially if they can add another 2026 selection. By dropping down 4 spots, they could still draft an impact player at number 6, land another top 40 pick, and get a buy low candidate in Mayer, who would pair well with David Njoku. For the Raiders, this is their chance to add a transcendent player. Travis Hunter is probably not making it to number 6, and new coach Pete Carroll, a legendary defensive backs coach, has been noted to defy positional value if there's a player he really loves in the secondary. Remember, he once traded 2 first-round picks for Jamal Adams. Hunter would be an immediate hit at cornerback, and I'm sure Carroll would have few qualms about putting Hunter at wide receiver as well. Las Vegas would also land a conditional pick that could turn into a 4th-rounder in 2027 if Mayer, who was drafted 2 regimes ago, racks up 600 receiving yards over the next 2 seasons in Cleveland. Does this trade make sense for Raiders? Moving up to the number 2 pick without having to give up a future first-round pick would have to interest the Raiders. Mayer is rumored to be on the trade block anyway, so that wouldn't be a huge loss. That said, teams usually trade up that high to take a quarterback, and it's unlikely the Raiders are targeting a quarterback. As Barnwell noted, it's easy to see Carroll getting smitten with the idea of adding Hunter. The Raiders also have a creative coaching staff that should be able to get the best out of the hybrid star. Could Raiders trade down? A trade-up is certainly possible for the Raiders, but a trade-down could also be on the table. 2 of the players the team has been heavily linked to are Boise State's Ashton Janty and Arizona's Tetaroa McMillan. Neither player might be worth using a pick as high as no. Saxon, if the Raiders want either of them, they should consider trying to trade down at least a few spots so they can feel better about making the pick. And now, Raiders fan, I want to hear from you. What's your opinion on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I don't know if you know this, but your opinion matters a lot for Raiders. I'll be back any moment with more Raider Nation news.